Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is a sketch from Scrap by Carla Dower. I think I've used this one before, but I love it so much. And today, since we're playing along with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, I decided to use this pin again because I just couldn't help myself. I really felt like with this collection in particular, that sketch is so cool and it will be really cute in the end. So I love that torn detail in the background. I really like how there's multiple pattern papers and layers already just in the background itself. That's why I was really drawn to this. I really want to use a lot of scraps for this one. I'm pulling in another sheet of my wood grain from my favorite wood grain paper pad that Ronnie put me on to. I'll show you in the layout share at the end of the month. I'll show you guys that paper pad because I've had a lot of questions about it, but it has so many different beautiful wood grains in multiple different styles that you can pretty much pull one or two of them, if not multiple, into whatever collection you're working with. And for whatever reason, this really kind of soft neutral wood plank I just thought is perfect for this collection because there's already almost an identical wood grain and different elements within the Boho Baby collection, even though there's not actual wood grain paper in it. So that's why I really enjoyed supplementing this month with that paper pad. I wanted to use that as the top layer just because it was so neutral and warm as it was. I knew I wanted to use the scrap of the heart pink paper as the secondary torn layer, and then for my background I wanted some interest and I wanted some warmth and I really felt like this maroon alphabet print was really good for that section because it is more busier than the other papers, but because it's in a smaller section and it draws your eye there, which I want because I think that's a really cool element, it kind of worked out. So I'm just trying to get the background together here. I'm trying to be strategic about this pink piece because I don't have very much of it and I need it to be big enough to create that secondary layer that's torn. So I did just trim that piece in half and I'm distressing the edges and then I'll tuck that in either side to create that other layer. But I am distressing each of these layers the same way Carla did. I just love the way that looks. I think it's so cool. And I think it does a lot of the work for me on this page because I feel like whenever you have a cool background element like this or a cut file or something like that, it's so cool by itself. You don't really want to cover it up too much, so you can kind of keep the rest of it more simple. She did have two, I think 3x4 photos kind of clustered together underneath this tear on the right side. I do have three 4x6s, but I am going to trim them down. Two of them I'll trim down a lot. I forget the proportions they end up being, but I think it's like 2.5 by 3.5 maybe. And then the other one I just trimmed down a little bit just so I can kind of squeeze everything together and get the same look. Like I said, I really didn't want to cover up too much of this page because I really like this design detail. But this is pretty much the background here now. I just pieced everything onto my cheap black 12x12 paper, and now that I have all these photos, I'm going to start trimming them down. So you'll see I really trimmed these. I think I may have already pre-trimmed them a little, but I needed them to be even less. So here I am trimming them some more. But I really want that kind of small photo layered look the way that Carla did hers. So I'm just trying to figure out how small I can trim these two. They're just 3 photos of Avery taken consecutively, so they're all pretty similar. So it's okay if I overlap and crowd them a little bit, but I really like that his expression is different in each of the photos, and I really like that multiple pictures taken of kind of the same thing really tell you the story more, seeing the progression of the expressions. So I really wanted to include all 3 of them. I'm adding all of them in some scrap pieces of white, and I'm really going to stick to the warmer elements in this collection with the maroons, but I did want to pull in some of the navy just because it is that kind of jewel tone as well, even though it's a blue. I really thought it would be nice to have that scalloped detail on the bottom kind of anchoring all of these photos together. So you'll see me pull in the navy star scallop sticker from the sticker sheet. So that's my design plan so far. I really don't have a plan except for I want all of these photos clustered together and something to anchor them. I really didn't need that anchoring point because I kind of feel like that torn detail could be an anchor along the top of the photos. But whenever I embellish, I really like them to sit on something, which is usually something coming out from under the photos. So you'll see what I mean in a minute. But I do want to go ahead and use this die cut banner piece in the top because it pulls in that maroon. It has those pink florals, which ties into the pink heart paper. And I thought this is a really good opportunity to get that used up. So I'm thinking I'll have that in the upper left-hand corner since my photos are more in the lower right area. And I definitely want to use up multiple tags, like at least 2 if I can, because I have a lot of tags in this collection because I cut apart an entire 12 by 12 that were just tags. And I want to try to get as much used up as possible. So without making this page crowded, I'm just trying to pull in kind of strategic things that I really want to get used up this month. So I feel better about it. I definitely I was dying to do this ever since I saw this pattern paper, the rainbow pattern paper. I really wanted to fussy cut the rainbows in a horizontal strip and use them somehow this month. So before I completely use up the rest of that paper, I went ahead and trimmed off a strip and fussy cut those rainbows for a cute horizontal detail. I really like in Carla's, I really love like the minimalist part of her layout, the way she designed it. It looks complete and full and layery, but she's not filling up the whole layout, which I really love. And I usually struggle with because I typically like to just keep adding until it feels my version of done. So this is one of the things I added. So I'm deciding to have these rainbows here at the bottom because I was being stubborn and wanted to use them somehow. And when I tried to incorporate them into the layers I was already creating, it looked off. So I'm just adding them to the bottom here. I do know I want to cover the bottom of those rainbows for where they're all connected. I really could completely have fussy cut the rainbow so they're all independent. But I decided I kind of wanted to just keep them all connected. So I had the height and the spacing how they already were because I liked that. And I'll just cover the bottom of the rainbows where you can see the white connecting paper. And I liked this idea because I ended up fussy cutting one additional rainbow, and I'll pop that up on some foam and add it on top so it kind of is an anchor piece for an extra embellishment, even though it all really flows together really nice. So that's what I'm thinking about the bottom. But I really kind of want to get the photo area situated. You can see I've already added to the top cluster as well, so I didn't need the entire star scallop border piece. So I just trimmed off the extra to add it to the secondary cluster in the top. And since I added the rainbows to the bottom, there was still one more rainbow left on the sticker sheet, which is one of those, I don't know what you call them, but those baby toys that have the wood beads that you move across it. There's a rainbow out of that toy that I think is super cute. So I did pop that up on some foam, and that'll be in that upper cluster too. So it's kind of coming together. I'm trying to make sure as I add to one section, it's balanced on another area just so everything looks cohesive. And now I'm adding, I'm gluing down that bottom rainbow section because I'm pretty happy with that. So you'll see I'll get the rainbows down, and then what I really wanted was to pull the maroon from that middle section into another area. So that's why I decided to go with this branding strip. And so I have that along the bottom. And then here I'm fussy cutting that additional rainbow. And I'll just pop it up over one of the rainbows that's kind of lower and tucked down more. And I think that looks really cute. So I think the next area is I'm going to try and get the tag situated. You kind of saw me messing around with it earlier where I was playing around with having a couple tags layered behind the big photo. So I'm going to go back to that. Now that I have these other areas down, I knew I wanted to use one of these white tags with the maroon hole reinforcer. But now that I've had these other areas and I've included this navy, I really thought it'd be nice to pull in one of the navy tags. So I'm going to layer those two together. I don't need the sentiments on the top, so I'm just going to have that covered by the photo. But I really like those pops of those colors introduced. And I like that they add layers behind the photos, but they don't cover up too much of this torn area. I do want it to overflow into the torn area, but I don't want to cover it up too much because I just love that design detail. So now I have to re-pull up these pictures and kind of tuck those back there. I did just use some of my raw tan twine. I think that looks really nice whenever I use wood grain. And I think my other two options were black and white and gold and white, and I don't think I've pulled in any metallic this month, so I really wasn't wanting to pull in the gold and white, but since I'm using navy and there's really no other black elements, I also didn't want to use the black, so wish I guess I could have, because I end up pulling in black thickers, but we're not there yet, so this is what I'm thinking at this time. I do want to keep an eye on my sticker sheet because we are dwindling down at the end of the month with these products, and there's still a word sticker, Shine Bright, that's black and white. Again, I could have used black and white because I did include some elements, but that sticker I thought would be really sweet to get on here, so I am planning on having that in that area. And then just for some extra layers, I really didn't want to cut into the few pieces of paper I had left, and none of the scraps that were left were really in the color scheme I was using. So I did just decide to pull in a scrap of one of those bigger doilies, just for some other texture and layer and all that good stuff. So now that I kind of have that area a little bit better, I'm not done with it yet, but it's looking a little bit more complete. I want to shift gears. I'm on the sticker sheet, so I was trying to look on the sticker sheet at what else I could use, and there's some really cute, like those blocks that you create houses with, you know, and I thought that would be really sweet to have there too. So I'm thinking that'll be another embellishment cluster next to that left-hand picture. So everything's kind of just rotating areas on the page until everything looks done. That's my that's kind of how I decided to work on this page. I didn't really need this little banner here, but I kind of felt like I wanted one more layer up there by the doily. The doily kind of just looked too naked. And I had a branding strip actually of the navy with the stars, so I just trimmed a piece of it into a banner and tucked it behind the Shine Bright just to add a little bit more to that cluster. And I kind of felt like that helped balance the navy too, but it wasn't super necessary. But now that I have this little toy block house down here, I'm popping that up on some foam. And then I was kind of feeling like I needed some pink in that area since I haven't pulled much of the pink in from that heart paper. So I do look, there's a lot of word stickers still on the sticker sheet because you get a lot. And there's one that says love you to the moon in that really soft pink. So I do end up layering that on top of the wood house too. But I like that little cluster, so now I'm going to go back up to the clusters at the top. While I had the sticker sheet out, I was looking for some confetti bits. I thought about using the hearts, but since I already have the star motif with the navy banner, I decided to pull in all the star stickers that were left. So you just saw me cluster 2 by the little wood block house and 2 by my tag clusters. I think just 1 by the tag cluster. And now I'm back up to the upper left-hand corner, gluing that section down. And then I was out of stars, so I decided to use a heart anyways. But I had one chipboard heart left in that light blue, so I figured I would just have that there instead. And now I'm just trying to think about finishing touches. I do want a title. I do want some other finishing details other than those little bits I just added. I was trying to look for some thickers to use, and I still have a ton of these title stickers from the These Days One Canoe 2. This was with my Secret Kit Club kit, sorry, of this collection, and I absolutely loved it, and I used so much of that collection. But one of the things I had a lot of leftovers of was this word sticker sheet, and it's super cute, so I don't know why I didn't use it more, but I'm gonna go ahead and get several of these stickers on this page. So I had a couple different options I could have gone with for this page, but spacing wise and just the sentiment, I felt like this always happy worked really, really well in the space that I needed it. And I really liked that has these florally details too, so I went ahead and included a couple of those in my title as well. And since I included them there, I decided I could use those as additional embellishments around the page too. So I'm trying to figure out where else I could add these. I thought about adding one of them up there. I think I ended up adding a couple by my tags coming out of the little Shine Bright sticker. I really struggled with adding those florally bits up by the upper corner though. They weren't laying right for whatever reason, but I had enough space up there where this word you fits perfectly. So I decided just to say you at the top there, which pulls in that thicker color, texture, dimension up to the corner without having to add any of those florally bits. So that's kind of how I worked around that. I really like what that adds to the page. That kind of helps fill out all the areas I felt were still kind of naked. And then I really wanted to use some form of an enamel dot. So I'm pretty sure I used the rest of these frosted beads on this page from Allie. So I'm just including those in my 3 clusters too, to create that visual triangle. And I think we're almost done. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. I loved that original inspiration from Carla. Make sure you check out the description for everyone else playing along with Off the Board with Pineapple Papers to see what their Pinterest pin they used and how they interpreted it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.